and I recently did a project using TinkerCad to create 3D printable objects. In TinkerCad, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can use 2 fingers to move around and look at your objects, or you can use this on the top. You can also use this to orient yourself in any direction. Of course, go back to home. On the right, there is a list of basic shapes, along with this drop-down menu you can use to change it to text and numbers, characters, connectors, etc. But what I found the most useful were the shape generators. Using all the shape generators, I was able to find objects that were able to work me for later, more complicated objects. But in the basic shapes, you can either drag one of your shapes out and then let go where you want it to be, or click it and click again where you want your shape to go. With the shapes, you can do a variety of things. You can obviously change the dimensions of the shape. You can use this menu to change the different complexities of the shape, making this cylinder smoother or more pixelated, or beveling the sides. As you can see, all the shapes have different sorts of changing in the drop-down menu here. And you can also use it to hide your shape, in which case you can just click this to get the shape back up, or you can turn the shape into a hole. I found this a very useful tool to use holes, because then you can change the shape of a different object, such as this cube. In order to do that, you would select both the shapes. You can select one and then hold Shift to select the second one, or you can create a square by dragging, which selects all that are in the square, and then you can use the merge button. And now our cube has a hole in it. But of course you can undo it with the ungroup button or with the undo button, or Command Z. The project that I first worked on was this knife block. As you can see, it was made of multiple shapes, all from this basic shapes menu, which were all then fused together, as you can see when I ungroup it. Now some of these are already fused together bits of shapes, like this one is a bunch of fused together shapes, and so is this, which is why it's slanted. As you can see, all the different shapes that I used in order to make this, which of course can all be smushed together by selecting all the shapes and merging. The second project that I worked on to make a bit more complicated of a project was a necklace chain along with a pendant, which I plan to attach to the chain via wire, because I didn't really know how to print something that would stay in one piece and attach it. The chain was kind of a difficult proposition. Due to the fact that it prints from the bottom up, so I'm not quite sure how this chain would actually hold up. In other projects, it's probably not the best idea to do something like this. But here you can see another feature, which is this centering, which centers your object. Unlike other programs, you can't just switch your view around. You can't drag the entire screen. You have to use the center to center your view. And these spiral arms were one of the things that I found in the shape generator down here. I recently, before this, made a project in Blender which I 3D printed, and overall I liked Blender better than TinkerCad, but TinkerCad was a bit more intuitive and easier to pick up. Blender is a bit complicated, but along with that, it's easier to make more complicated structures using Blender. With TinkerCad, it took me hours of searching and tinkering just to find the right shape to make these little arms. But with Blender, you can just easily make it. Along with merging together with TinkerCad, it just kind of merges together and it's a bit blocky, whereas in Blender you can smooth it. So Blender just has more tools and techniques available than TinkerCad, although I'm certain with more practice in TinkerCad, I could learn to make more complicated structures too. I hope this video is useful.